Hey guys, so it is currently 2 a.m. and I wanted to record this video for you all. I'm having like a little bit of a existential self-crisis, which I tend to have like pretty frequently, if not daily, and I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself to kind of like turn my life around and change and be better and do better, and like I constantly put pressure on myself, but I tell myself that it's not pressure. But whenever I'm not like moving at a pace that I would, naturally wish I could be going at, I get really hard on myself and I get really confused, and I'm like, why aren't things changing? And just like these thought patterns come up and I don't like them. They're not fun. And it's like I feel like I know better, and I know that I shouldn't be like having these thoughts even like slip back in at this point, but I'm just sharing this because like the whole self-growth is not linear phrase is really true. And I feel like whenever you like read it on a Pinterest quote or something, or people tell you it, you kind of are like, okay y'all, like all right folks, but it's kind of the truth. And I feel like whenever I just let go and I just chill and I don't overthink things and I just create and I just do, and I don't like have a set thing in my mind, my life just tends to go smoother and more comfortable, and I am as a result happier. Recently I have been thinking about my like identity, and I feel like I don't even know what that is half the time, honestly. But what I do try to do is consistently create this culture evolution type brand for myself, and I've realized it's a really nice outlet for me to fall back on whenever I'm just like really not knowing what to do with my life, because it's a sense of direction and it's a sense of purpose. I feel like at the end of the day I come back to, are you like fronting like this culture evolution thing? Like, what is your personal statement? What is your brand? What are you about? Like, if you could describe yourself to people, like what's your identity? What does that look like? And for me, I was just thinking, because I have my senior project coming up next semester in the spring, I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to like go along and do visuals for this culture evolution concept that I've had for a while, where I include like my paintings that I've created all throughout college, because that's whenever I really got into this like culture evolution concept. And it's just the idea. So the original idea, how I came up with culture evolution, was I took this concept of like, culture is the people, culture is the music, and it's the arts, and it's what's popular at a certain period in time, and it's constantly evolving, so evolution. And I originally wanted to start off like, I was like, oh, I could paint like Michael Jackson or Prince or like whoever, and that would be like documenting a piece of art in time, is an album, so to like visually depict that. And then it evolved into me painting coolers, not attached to this brand that I've created for myself, but separate. And I would do Kanye stuff, and I would do like pop culture type music that people were really enjoying, but it wasn't music that I personally like really super enjoyed. So I really fell in love with art whenever I realized I loved Kanye's visuals, because every single one of his album covers has a very strong imagery, and it has a very distinct look, so it's very easily recognizable across the board, which is why I like to create this certain type of art, because I feel like a lot of people can relate to Mac Miller. So right now, I'll shift this over for you guys. Hold up, this microphone's doing some crazy shit, some acrobatics. But over here, I'm working on this Mac Miller piece, and it's just documenting all of his albums, and I've been making this kind of art for like a couple of years now. I've been doing Frank Ocean, I've done Tyler the Creator, I've done Drake, Kid Cudi, Kanye, like I said, and just really well-known visual artists, I would say. Like the way that they do their album art, it's iconography. So if you know anything about art, iconography is like the visual symbolism of something, and you can kind of draw connections and comparisons and things in your head about iconography and what they're supposed to mean. So if I were to paint something, then a lot of people, if you listen to music, will know like what these things are, is basically my point, trying to sum it up. I was thinking for this senior project, we have to come up with like an exhibition type situation or just like a big project. And I don't think that I specifically want to focus on one thing. And I've realized in my artwork, I prefer like the curation of a bunch of different elements. This lighting looks like I have like jaundice. Is that better? Okay. So I was thinking I could do some gallery situation with my previous works, like the ones I'm most proud of and the ones that I feel like will kind of reach a bigger audience, because it's more exciting to interact with something that you know what it is. And I've realized that in my own art career, like I realized I honestly highly strongly dislike abstract art because it's very, very difficult to relate to, and it's difficult to access to everybody. So I feel like by giving people some recognizable iconography to look at in these visuals that they've seen before and they can identify with, and at some point in time maybe this certain album was really important to them and it helped them relax, or it helped them express themselves and figure out this new, like, wow, I really love music, I really love this album, or the lyrics were really meaningful to me and they got me through a tough time. Like, whatever your reason is, your story is individual, and I feel like my work can kind of help people come to these conclusions and come to these like revelations about themselves and their own lives, and they can kind of dig back in their memories about certain times, and they can bring this piece into their home and look at it and feel reminiscent and really good about whatever music it is. So that is kind of my statement of why I make the type of art that I do. And I have struggled, like I said, with the existential crisis in the beginning of the video. If you're still here, thanks, you the best. But now it's like the real. It's like a front in a sense to me, and I'm struggling with the concept if I am fronting it and faking it, or if I truly am passionate about all of this stuff and like whatever it is. And I feel like a lot of the things that I do, y'all, I'm like sitting on the hardwood floor. This is not comfortable, but it's okay. A lot of what I do, I'm like, who is this for? Like, am I making art for me? Am I making art for an audience? And that's really important to think about whenever you're creating a brand for yourself, or like a visual kind of storytelling identity, is who is your audience? And my audience is anyone and everyone that can or wants to interact and relate to my work. Some people might view it from a more detached way. Some people might be like, oh yeah, that looks nice, or that's colorful, and then move on with their day, and that's totally fine. So it's just individual to you and how you want to interact with it. I made these little portfolio zines, so if you can tell, that's like one of my Drake paintings, and then this other one should be Kid Cudi is on the cover. So that is that. And basically I take you through some of my favorite pieces that I've created. This is like all out of order. This is Astro World, if you can see, just to give you an idea if you don't want to go look at my Instagram. And then we have Frank Ocean Joints with his different albums on it, Lil Wayne, Carter 5. And I feel like it's just a really like warm and cozy, like nice feeling. Kid Cudi. And then here's a sloth smoking with a bong, and then we have Igor in the corner. So it's just like a nice way for me to document. Like, I will always remember the summer that I was like going through certain things, and like my escape, the thing that I spent a lot of my time getting my mind off of my life and my problems and depression and dealing with like breakups and everything of that nature. Like, I'll always remember me doing this, painting, and sitting down with this painting for like hours and hours, like working on them. Especially these like body of work ones, they take multiple weeks. And like I showed you the Mac Miller one, like I'm not just gonna sit down and do it in a session. So it's really like my therapy in a sense, and like I'm going to sit down and work on something and paint. So I think I might title this video My Relationship with Art, or my brand, or like how I came up with Culture Revolution, something like that. because I just wanted to share. And like I said, the real part is like struggling with identity. I don't like to view it as a coping mechanism, but I think it is a coping mechanism. And I was watching Grey's Anatomy. That's like the show that I watch over and over again because it is consistent, it's good, whatever, it's easy to watch. In the episode, it was a patient, and the patient was dying of cancer or something like that, some illness. She was like setting up her husband or her man or whatever with a new woman, so whenever she died, a new woman could be with the dude. But the moral of the story is that she needed something to take her mind off of what was happening to her. So for her, it was focusing all of her energy onto finding these people for her husband and like setting up these like little like blind dates, essentially like meeting these women, because she needed to occupy her mind, or else she would go crazy just obsessing over the thought of dying or being ill or whatever the case is. So for me, art is like the one thing that I can constantly go back to, and that's also why I came up with Culture Evolution, is because my artwork is constantly going to evolve with me, and some things I really enjoy creating right now may not even be things I want to create in the future, and that's okay. Like, Culture Evolution can grow and evolve, and just as we do. So I think it's nice to accept the idea of like being fluid in your life, and like you're going to go through a certain season and then you're going to change, and then you're going to go through a different season, and your hobbies might change, or your friends or whoever you're surrounded with will enter or exit your life, and you're constantly growing and evolving. So that is my whole spiel on my situation out here. And I think I just need to stop overthinking everything about like who I am, like how are you showing up in the world, like what do people think of you. And it's not in like a I'm super insecure and like I need to know what people think of me. It's not that. It's just like I want to always be putting my best foot forward and doing something good for myself that's healthy, and also to help the world. And I just want to help people. And I think a big part of that is my childhood and growing up feeling like that misunderstood kid. But I always looked normal. I always did fairly normal things. I cheered in high school. Like, I've had a couple of people, or one really good friend, two couple friends, tell me that they were like, I would never even think that you would like go through stuff. Like, you just seemed like the poster child of like a normal, like good life. And I think that is kind of where I want to advocate for people who are not like deeply suffering in the same way that other people are, but your pain and your anxieties and your depression and everything else in your life is still valid because it's individual to you, and you don't need anyone else to sit there and tell you that you're not allowed to suffer, or you're not allowed to be upset about your situation because other people have it worse. So I want to help those people who feel a little less accepted, and those who feel like they don't have a place to fit in. Like, the only part is I can't bring everyone on my train. I'm aware of that. There's some people that are going to be stuck in dark energy for the rest of their lives. Some people are going to take much longer to evolve than others. But I feel like I'm on a little bit of a fast-tracked wave of growth and self-discovery and all this stuff, because I've been self-aware like a good majority of my life, and that's why I feel like I've become a wiser person so quickly. And I feel like I've always been like an old soul and just kind of in my own world. Like, I would feel like I'm in a bubble, like Madison land, and it wouldn't matter how many people are around me, like in my classes growing up or like friend groups. I just feel like I was always in my head and everything else was happening outside of me, and I still feel that way. And some examples are like, I'll just sit there like looking outside the window and I'm like, oh no, like what if the cars are looking at me right now? Like, bitch, they are not looking at your specific window. Like, you don't matter that much. So if that puts things into perspective for you, like how I feel, or like just sitting on my porch at night over summer, I used to like lay down and like I was on a porch on a hill, and there was like trees that kind of covered up the section, and a car comes down at like 2 a.m. every night for like 3 days, and I'm like, oh no, like what is this person doing? Like, are they gonna see me? Like, are they gonna shoot me? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, again, bitch, you don't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. So like, it shows how in my head about stuff that I am and how conscious I am. And I feel like I'm sharing like the shadow sides of myself. Like, it's not the stuff that I want to actively advertise or that I'm proud of. But those are the things that still come up for me on occasion. And it's not severe. I'm not out here dying over any of this stuff, but it's just random things. Some of my other shadows would definitely be loneliness, like for sure, because of that whole like isolation in the head thing. And it is not because of corona and quarantine and like all that shit. I actually like this because I keep to myself the most often. And I find sometimes whenever people like hit me up out of the blue or text me or whatever, because I only talk to like my best friend and my mom every single day, and then like a few people every once in a while that like check in, like some life people, you know. But other than that, I really don't interact with anybody because I need to keep my energy to myself and like protect it. And I'm very sensitive to other people's energies. So if you're out here like doing a bunch of problematic shit, or you're like just not living an empowered lifestyle or a confident lifestyle, or your priorities aren't straight in your life, like I am sensitive to that stuff. And like I wish I could be like, no, I wouldn't. No, see, I feel like I'm just saying shit right now. I wouldn't slip back. It just shows me, this is what I'm trying to say. It reminds me about how self-aware I am and how, girl, you don't fit in here. So anytime I'm in a social setting, like 9 out of 10 times, if it's with peers, it is horrible. And I feel like my presence there does not matter to anybody, and they could tell me like, oh, we're so glad you're here, like woohoo. But I still feel the disconnect because I am such an internal, deep processing person, and I'm in my own bubble Madison land all the time. So to like witness other people interacting, they're kind of sharing more of their like surface versions of each other, or like more outgoing activities, or drinking and like partying and listening to music and dancing and like being in these social settings. It really overwhelms me and it really makes me feel out of place. So that is like not my jam at all. So I opt to be alone. And again, whenever people text me, it's almost like I have to retrain my brain and be like, okay, like how do we talk to people? How do we respond to people? Because like I just don't, you know what I mean? And I'm very, very good at putting on this mask of like saying like LMAO or like OMG girl, like whatever, like I can feed into that just so it's normal and that I blend and that I'm nice to everybody, like surfacely or whatever. Like even if they're like saying some crazy shit or like, oh my god girl, like let's go out, and like, oh my god, like miss you so much, like I'm always gonna be nice back. But I can't vibe with you if you aren't on my path and on my wavelength. Like I really get along with people who are not like the rest in a good way. Like they want to like do things with their lives and they have goals that they're like actively planning in their head or trying to achieve. Like I can't stand people who just don't have any goals, or they're like, I'm not sure yet, and then they just focus on like more surface things. And that's why I'm saying like this whole partying and external whatever, I feel like a lot of people end up using that as their escape. So for me, it's art, or it used to be journaling, it used to be reading self-growth books. Like it's always going to change like what my thing is that's helping me. But some people will just stick with being social and going out or being around people 24/7. And if you think about it, why do you think they like can't be alone? And I literally just got confirmation of this today. Like honestly, it's every single day. Like most people's Snapchats and their Instagrams or like whatever, it just shows me like the things that these people value are not at all what you value. And I couldn't even pretend to like care about the things that they care about, or posting pictures or image maintaining, I guess, if you will. I just don't, like, I don't have any pictures of me on the internet anywhere anymore. I just have my artwork and kind of like my portfolio, and then I have my YouTube channel. But other than that, I don't like actively check in and like post and like whatever. Again, I don't spend time with people. Like, why do you think, like, I am way more okay with being alone and by myself than so many people ever will. And it's not a game of comparison, but I'm just trying to share with you guys like what goes through my mind. And like we had our Catterday game day, and I'm like, I don't like going to games. Like, I don't like doing this stuff or being in loud, very hyperactive environments. Like, it makes me anxious. It makes me want to go home, and it doesn't make me feel confident or empowered. I just feel like I need to leave. So it's disappointing sometimes, because I'm like, well, these people, they're happy. Look at them. They're having fun. They're drinking. They're enjoying themselves. They're with their friends. They're in a group. And I can have the exact same friend or group of friends, but I don't feel the same about the relationship. So I'm not going to enjoy going out. I'm not going to enjoy these different things. And it makes me sad, because I'm like, I wish that some of these things would give me happiness and fulfillment, but they just simply don't. And I can't control that. I can't change that. And I also can't change the fact that I don't like when people flirt with me. Dudes flirt, like, get off my back. It feels uncomfortable. There's just so much like weird, like quirk things about me that I just embrace, and that's who I am. And I like being by myself. I wish that I was in a committed, loving relationship, but I know that that's not in my plan for right now, and I need to be patient on the timing, because I'm so like spiritually advanced, or whatever you want to call it, or old soul. I've been living with that for so long that like I've wanted a committed relationship since like high school. Like, I could have, obviously, retrospect, like, I'm like, no, bitch, like, you were not ready to like be married to anyone or like have a very serious relationship back then. But I've always wanted just someone to love and to support and build up and uplift and like make a life together. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not down for this stupid like non-committal date you for a year and drop you on your ass type of vibes. And I would prefer to save my heart, protect my heart, and wait until the right situation comes along and it's natural, and it's not like I've had opportunities to be with new people since my last relationship, but I'm just like, I can't even entertain it or think about it. Like, it's not for me. Like, it's just not. And I don't know, man. The thing that I'm trying to accept right now is all parts of myself, including the light and the dark, because I think towards the end of the video, I'm sharing like my shadows with you. Like, it's spilling out and trickling out. And I just wanted to film this, and I didn't even realize it until right now, but it is helpful to see like that I'm not all like, ooh, like this is my brand, Culture Evolution. I use pastel colors and I like music and blah, 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 because that's fake. That's like the front version. And then there's the chill, I'm doing all right. I have faith about my life and my future, and like everything's gonna go amazing. And like, I'm really inspired creatively, enjoying myself, like loving where I'm at. And then I go through, oh God, here come the cycles again, like the negative thoughts or the old thoughts or the comparison thoughts or whatever that just pop up. And the good thing now, though, like after transforming and changing, is it's way quicker to snap out of that shit and get right back to where I need to be. So making this video is hopefully showing you guys that like it's a progression, and it's always going to be up and down, and I'm not just consistently going to be like one, I don't even know what you would call it, one like mood or one way of thinking or being. Like, I need to start accepting all parts of myself, all of it. I get worked up about the way other people are living their lives a lot. And I compare them because I feel like I'm just in my own lane. So like, if no one else is in my lane, what do I got? Everyone else? And I'm trying to, like, I think subconsciously seek equals or people who I can vibe or get along with. And like, if you seek it, it's not gonna be there. And like, you just have to accept that like your people are gonna take longer to appear to you if you are more custom, as I like to call myself, or if you are more advanced spiritually or growth wise or older soul. You're gonna have to kind of wait for people to catch up to you. And that part is really hard to accept, like having patience about it and just knowing that like one day it'll be okay. One day it's gonna happen. One day I will have a group of friends. One day I will have a best friend. I mean, I have one right now, but you know, best friend in my active life that I'm spending time with, and I enjoy that. But right now it doesn't fulfill me to do that, so I don't do it. So you just need to trust yourself and ride out whatever phase you are in your life. And then one day I will have a loving boyfriend and then husband, and I want the next person I be with to be my husband, and like there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's also important to share. Like, you don't just need to date people and to fill a void, because sometimes you may want a void to be filled, but if not the right person is there, the void will just consistently be a black hole, never ending. And no one can fill that except for the right one. And that's kind of where I'm at in my life right now. So I'm out here like out of breath, being a marathon talker tonight. I almost feel like I have multiple personality disorder, but I don't. I'm not trying to make jokes about it or anything, but there's just so many sides of ourselves. Like, we're not just one thing. So you need to accept the split personalities, or whatever you want to call them. That's not meant to be offensive or anything. By the way, I'm actually very passionate about, or I used to be really passionate about, dissociative identity disorder, and how like the brain won't let you just suffer. Like, the trauma is so severe that the brain needs to rewire itself to like be okay, essentially, and to function as an operating being. So that's why the different personalities emerge. It's kind of like a way of the brain like naturally healing itself. It's coping. I wouldn't say it's healing necessarily, but it's just like the body's natural way of coping. So I would absolutely love to study that further or get into like psychology. I've even thought about that, because I don't think art is like what really makes me fulfilled. I think it's a hobby, but I don't think that's what I necessarily want to do as a career. I would like to help people who are experiencing pain and trauma and wanting to heal and wanting to be better. And I just haven't found the right avenue of like the types of people that I want to work with or help, or if it should be kids in abusive homes, or just kids that feel like they're not getting enough attention or love, or I'm not sure if that would affect my energy like severely in a negative way where I couldn't personally operate. I'm not sure. But those are just kind of my life updates and struggles and just the process kind of all out on paper for y'all. So yeah, thank you so much for watching tonight. I know this video is hella long, but I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. I haven't done a Nightcast in a minute, so if you guys liked it, please like this video and subscribe, and let a girl know if you would like some more vulnerable videos like this. I think they're my favorite to do, because you just really gotta go in sometimes and talk about your life and like what's going on. It's therapeutic to do so, and it's like taking the place of journaling, I guess you could say. So yeah, like I said, that is it, and I love you all so much, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.
Can I give you more? Can I give you more, child? Can I give you more? I will give you everything, my child. Just waiting for the timing. Oh, now